Hello and welcome to this Unreal Engine tutorial. In this video we will import all the animations of our character and then set up a basic character blueprint that will be really similar to the third person template character, and also we will set up the animation blueprint, also very similar to the third person character. What we want is really to have a feel of how the character is looking and it's feeling in the engine. So that's what we're gonna do today. First we need to launch. I don't know if I already pressed, but just in case I'll click again. And also, given that our character has a lot of pieces that should move around, uh, we could also need to set up those bones to make them start being affected by gravity. So a good part of this tutorial will also focus on setting up the physics asset, and that will also open the possibility to add in the simulation for the cloth. And yeah, let's do that too. So yeah, let's wait for the engine to open and let's get started. Here let's create a new project, games, and I will use the third person. It's not really necessary, but let's use it so it's faster. And then let's call it UNF Cleric. And now let's wait again. So here we have the third person template. If you press play, then you have the gray man walking around, jumping, and every basic thing we also want our character to have. So the first step we need to do is import the character. Let me open up a content browser that you guys can see. And now let's create a folder to house every asset we want to import. This way, when we upload it to the marketplace, it follows the guidelines they set up for us. So yeah, let's call it UNF Cleric, and we want a folder for the meshes. In this case, I believe it's something like the third person. Yeah, meshes, mannequin character. We will have the skeletal mesh, and here we will import our character. Here we have the FBX file, so let's open it. All these settings are okay. Import. And there we have it. Let's check if it works properly. Here it is. And now let's save everything. Let me clean up a little bit. So we need a folder for materials. This material will be called default. We need a folder for textures. We give it a correct name. And these assets can stay here. So let's now import the animations we have made previously. So let's create a folder called animations, and import. These are in export. Here they are. The skeleton we will use is the one we imported, the cleric skeleton, and everything is fine. Yeah, import all. And now we can see, for example, the walk animation, and it's working properly. That's good to know. Let's go to the content browser and save everything we have imported. That's good. I'm saving because it has happened before that for some reason I did something weird and the engine crashed and the assets that were not saved like became corrupted. Well, some of them became corrupted and I had to delete everything and start all over again. So it's good to save after import. And then what we want is to be able to, and let me put this in new editor window, to be able to have this movement. So the quickest way to do this, let me open again the content browser, it's to go to the third person blueprint character, here in the third person BP, blueprints, third person character, and we will copy and paste it. So let's create a folder called blueprints. We can drag and drop it and copy here. Now we have our blueprint character. So let's call this character cleric. And now I want to use it here in the map. So I'll set it up the same way this is set up, this template is set up. So you can see here there is no game mode. The way this template is set up is by setting the property of possess, and this character blueprint auto possesses the player 0. Let's change it to disabled and let's drag and drop our own blueprint. Here it is, it's compiling shaders, and here is the third person character, here is our blueprint cleric character. So let's put it in player 0, and if we play, now we are possessing this character. Now what we need to do is just change the skeleton mesh this character is using. So Ctrl E to open the cleric faster, and we see that we have the same code the template character has, so it's good. Let's go to a viewport, go to the mesh, and here we change it for the cleric. Here we see that we are not following the correct naming convention, so let's fix that very quickly. And now we're following. We have changed a lot of names, and here in the animation I believe I forgot, yeah, an A for animation. So let's right click and fix up redirectors, just in case. This makes it so whenever we change a file name, or we copy and paste, maybe we replace some asset, some redirectors get created, so this helps our project stay clean. And I'm gonna do it for each one of them, just in case. So now everything is clean. Let me save this blueprint, and let's go back to our blueprint. Here we have the skeleton mesh, the correct one. And if we press play, we have not set up any animation, so it's almost like an static mesh. Let's fix that. What we need is an animation blueprint. Let's create one. In the animations, right click, animation, animation blueprint. Let's select the cleric skeleton and an OK. I will call it animation blueprint cleric. Let's open it, and here everything is clean. Let's check how the template character is using its animation blueprint. Let's find it here and open it, and you see that this animation blueprint uses an state machine, and this state machine, it's the one that tells if the character is running, it's jumping, etc, etc, and it manages all the transitions. And in the event graph, it's all the variables that are being used by this animation blueprint to manage the transitions. For example, if it's in air or the speed the character has. It's a quick implementation, so let's copy and paste it. We copy it. We'll delete that because it's already been pasted here, and we just connect it. There it is. The engine says that we don't have this variable created and this one either, so right click, create variable, right click, create. We compile and we have these variables working. What we need is the state machine. We could create the state machine from scratch and set up all the nodes, but I believe we could also copy and paste this one. So the default one, copy, paste. And now we have the states, we have the transitions that are using the same variables because we have copy and paste the code. But we need to refactor some of it, because if I compile now, it's using animations that are not meant for this skeleton. So for example, the idle run is a blend space. We don't have this blend space yet, so let's create it. To create a blend space, you could also do it like the animation blueprint, animation and blend space. Let me check if it's using one dimensional blend space. I believe it is because it's really simple. Yeah, it is a one dimension blend space. So let's create it. Right click, animation, blend space 1D, cleric, and here I will call it blend space cleric locomotion. And let's open it up. Here in this blend space, the thing that will drive this will be the speed. So let's set up the horizontal axis and call it speed. The maximum value, we can get it from the other blend space. Here it's 375, and I believe the other settings are mostly the same. So now we just need to drag and drop the animations that will be used depending on the speed. If I want it to walk, I'll set it here, and now my character is always walking. If I want it to run, I want it to be at full speed, so I'll make it in the last section. And now we have a great blend between those two animations, and it's almost seamless. What I have noticed that I am missing is an idle animation. So being idle, it would stay walking. So let's create one very quickly. We can go to I don't know, the attack. This is a heal one, the attack. Because all these animations start at the idle animation, that we have an idle pose for now, but as soon as the animation is ready, we can replace it. So with this pose, I can record it. Let's go to animation, let's call it idle, and let's press OK. Now it's recording. Let's stop recording. And now we have an idle animation that it's an idle pose, but let's call it idle animation. Let's save it and let's go back to the blend space and drag and drop it at the start. Now we have an idle animation. If you start moving, then we walk, and if we go at full speed, then we run. Let's save this blend space. Let me close the third person character. I don't need the animation blueprint also, and this blend space, I don't need it. The skeletal, well, I don't need it just yet. And in the animation blueprint we can start replacing. We have this blend space, we just drag it on top, and now if we compile, this node will not give me any issues. Let's replace the other ones that are wrong. For example, third person jump start, we have a cleric jump start. And here there is a difference because this one is not looping, so I could also drag and drop on top of it, so we retain these changes that have been done before. And if we compile, now it works properly. We go to the loop, the same thing. We go to the end, third person jump, and this one jump end. Yeah, it's the, I was wondering why it was being called only jump, but yeah, it's the jump end. Let's compile to see if there are any errors, and there doesn't seem to be. Let's check, for example, here in the anim preview editor, if it's in error, we can check. Now if we can change the speed, if it's walking, and if it's faster. Now she's running. We have the animation blueprint working. Now let's go back to the character blueprint, and here we just need to find our animation blueprint. Here it is. We save it, and hopefully if we press play, everything goes like according to plan. Now it's in an idle pose. If we move around, we are using the run animation. Because I'm not using a controller, I will not be able to see the walk animation unless I do a little tweaking to the movement. But it's enough, and it also works the jumping animation. The landing is not working properly. Yeah, it's not really playing, and this may be because the transitions here used in the state machine are being controlled by these two nodes. And here is the duration, that it's probably longer than the animation itself, so let's change it a little bit. I'll put 0 in both. just to see the animation working. And now we have movement. I don't believe it's the entire movement. Let me loop the animation. Yeah, it's not playing to the end. So let's change this. Yeah, this is the rule. This transition rule, it will make it so whenever this ratio of the animation is remaining, then we go to the next one. We could do this, but we could also use the uh, remain in oh, it's the same one. Yeah, we just need to tweak this to less than equal, and let's tweak it to 0.0.1. Now let's check if more of the animation plays. Yeah, I believe it does. I mean, it's good, it's fast, because otherwise if I'm walking around and I jump, the animation doesn't get stuck. And now you see that we have a hard transition here. We can tweak this here. Let me put it to 0.1 and this one too. And now the animation should be smoother. And if I jump in place, then it's also good. For example, if we wanted to really show this animation, I could change the play rate to, I don't know, 0.2, and now we can see it. But this leads to issues because when I'm running, I'm gonna be sliding. So usually the landing animation are done very quick. The duration is very quick, so it doesn't happen this sliding. Or you could also have a longer landing animation, but you would need to stop the character. Maybe you could do it through root motion, or through code you can disable the input or stop the character through the character movement component. But for our purposes, it works really well. That it lets me keep walking around, and it gives me the feel that she's landing. So yeah, now we have the character working. Yeah, it would be nice to have a nicer idle animation. We'll work on that. But what we should do next is the clothing simulation, so it doesn't look so stiff. And in order to do that, we need to set up the physics asset. So let's start with that, or with the clothing. Let's start with the clothing because it will look nicer, and with the clothing setup we can tweak the physics asset more accordingly to the needs of the clothing. Let me check. Yeah, so let's open the content browser again. Let's go to the skeletal mesh. Let's open. Let me save the animation blueprint. Yeah, the character blueprint is not needed either. The blend space. Yep. So here we can create the cloth simulation. How will we do to do this? We just need to activate section selection, and in this case I have only one material. So because it's a really optimized character, it could be used for mobile games. It uses one material and one texture, so really optimized. And here we just right click and create clothing data from section. We will accept this name, SK Cleric Clothing, and here we're telling it to use this physics asset. Let's create, and let's show the physics asset, because I don't know if the asset is like really wild with the volumes. Mesh, animation, bones. Here it is, physical mesh. No, there was a way to show it. Here it is. You just needed to press Alt C, and now you can show the collisions, and the collisions are being determined by the physics asset. So let me uncheck some things I was playing with. So yeah, our physics asset is really not good because we have this capsule like going from the knee to the other hand. So let's check that first. Let's save it, and here we can go to the physics asset directly. Here it is. So first things we have to fix is the root, the pelvis, and everything that has a collision that shouldn't have. The root, it shouldn't really have a collision. Let me delete this collision. Let me simulate just in case the root really needed that collision. I don't remember if it, yeah, I didn't need it, so we're good. Let's fix the pelvis. The pelvis should be like fit in the image, so let's do that. Yeah, that's a good place. Let's see all the constraints. Yeah, the pelvis is good. Let's check these potions. And here we have a little issue. And let me slow the camera speed, because all these potions have only one collision, and I would like them for them to each one have its own collision so they can jiggle around when physics are activated. So here let's find show all bones, and for example potion 1, yeah, I don't need it to have a collision. Potion 2 I do, and that pivot point is fine. So let's reduce this to a little ball, a slightly bigger ball, to my approximately that, yeah, and let's drag it in order to fit. I will rotate it a little bit and enlarge it. This is a very tedious part. It's really about making the collisions match the character, so we have a better looking character when everything starts simulating, and when the cloth is involved, also it helps a lot when these collisions are matched. Now, here in the potion 3, I don't have a, a capsule to use. What I can do is right click it and add replace bodies, or I could add a shape. I'll add a sphere, and I believe a capsule will be better, because that way I can cover more ground. Let's add a capsule. It was bound to be really more that I wanted, but we can scale it down. And let's see where is the constraint of this potion. And it doesn't have one. So it would be good to create a new constraint with itself. Yeah, potion 3. I believe I need to pick potion 2, because oh yeah, that's no good. Let's see if we can go back. No, we can't go back. We can delete the constraint. Here, for example, it's a constraint with a pelvis, and I believe it could work also for this one and for that one, because I don't want them to be dragging only on the other potion. Otherwise, these potions will be always lower than this one, and I just want them to move a little bit in the same place. So let's add a constraint with the pelvis, and let's move it to where it should belong. That it's approximately here. I don't know if I can make it match. I made it match with the pelvis. uh, yeah. If I select those two, no, these two, can I snap it? Nope. Assign, delete, access limit, convert. Now I guess it's a manual process. So yep. Let's show the bones. Character, bodies, mesh. Yeah, that way it becomes really easy to tweak this stuff. There it is. And let's I believe a ball and socket, it's fine. Also we could do hinge one, but yeah, ball and socket, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. We can right click and convert to ball and socket. Or we could change it here also, if it doesn't want us to have like an easier time. Hinge, ball and socket. It was fine. Yeah, I'll do hinge for now. Yeah, I'll do a hinge one. Let's simulate this one, for example, to see how it's moving. We can select the body and simulate selected, and we can see how it behaves. Yeah, it should be fine. Let's select this one and see how it behaves. Yeah, that's no good. We can select the constraint, skeletal, and see how it moves now. For example, well, let's test it how it is. Yeah, these issues happen, one, because this body is not located properly. So let's do that. Rotate it a little bit. Yeah, that's good enough. And also the constraint, it's not rotating appropriately. If we see the last one, we now have a good understanding of the movement range. So now I'm trying to see which angle should I use. Maybe we can just test it. Rotate it a little bit. Yeah, that could be fine actually. A little bit this way. And now if we simulate it, we have a little bit better the the, the simulation. This simulates everything that is below it, so it simulates this stuff too. So let's check. Maybe I could use really the hinge. I'll test it with this one, hinge, and instead of that angle being free, we look that angle, and this angle is the one I want, but I will limit it. I will limit it in that way. Simulate it. Oh, I didn't select the body that I wanted to simulate, and now we have this. That that I believe it's good enough. If I wanted to preserve most of the motion, I could rotate it this way. Let me see. But the gravity will do its part. We could disable the gravity, and now we can see really like what are the extremes of this, and I'm liking these extremes. Yeah, but this means that I'm not getting any side to side movement. Let's add some of that, and I believe it will be this one. No, it's not that one. It's this one. Nope. Yeah, it's oh, I had it the limit in 0, so let's check it. Yeah, that's what I want. This little cone that grows, it will give me some side to side motion, and I don't want like really too much of it. Even this swing limit is maybe too much. Let me, yeah, 20 seems really fine. And check it. Yeah, now it's working like I wanted. Let's do exactly the same setup with this one. Select the constraint, hinge, and we don't want it to be really free. This would be side to side, and if we lock this one, this would be the motion that it can go. Yeah, that's fine. I leave it at 30. Let's lock it, and let's check this motion. That's maybe too much for it. 30 is fine, and let's put both of them limit. Yeah, I will do exactly the same process for this one. So yeah, let's speed up the video.